Hey, look at that, Regina cried suddenly. She pointed to the glass worm tank. Huh? What? Todd demanded, lowering his eyes to the worms. Those worms, they were watching you, Regina exclaimed. See? They're sort of staring at you. I should pick a shorter one. Get serious, Todd muttered. But he saw that Regina was right. 3 of the worms had their heads raised out of the dirt and seemed to be staring up at him. You have a weird imagination, Todd insisted. No, they were watching, Regina insisted excitedly. I saw them watching you when you cut that worm in 2. Worms can't see, Todd told them. They weren't watching me. That's stupid. But they were, Regina cried. The worms are angry, Beth added, glancing at Regina. The worms don't like to see their friends cut in half. Stop, Todd pleaded. Just give me a break, okay? The worms are going to get revenge, Todd, Regina said. They saw what you did. Now they're planning their revenge. Todd let out a scornful laugh. Ha 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 ha! You must think I am stupid, as you already declared. There's no way I'm going to fall for that. No way I'm going to believe such a stupid idea. Giggling to each other, hee hee, Regina and Beth returned to their ping pong game. Todd dropped the 2 worm halves into the tank to his surprise. Former worms had poked up out of the soft dirt. They were staring straight up at him. Todd stared down at them, thinking about what Regina and Beth had said. What a stupid idea, he thought. Those worms weren't watching me. Or were they?
You can't scare me. Not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy calling all creeps.
Boo dudes. Welcome to Calling All Creeps. Thanks for coming back, you cute little Steinhead. It's so good to see you here. Dave, I'm here with Dave. By the way, this is a podcast about Goosebumps. Dave, how are you?
This is going to be a rough one.
It's going to be a rough one.
This is going to be a rough one.
It's going to be a fun one.
This one's going to be rough.
Ooh, baby.
Like a pound puppy. Rough.
And Dave, we got to keep this nice and short because lately I've been enjoying watching House MD with my wife. And I'd like to do that more today.
That's fine. I just got out of work, which is sucked. So yeah. I also want to enjoy Dave time. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to after this.
But right now we're going to enjoy some together time. You know who got me back into House? Back into House.
Back on that house wagon.
Is Ursula, friend of the podcast.
Friend of the pod, who's heading over to Erie, Indiana right now.
Oh, is she?
She's moving.
Safe
it's
travels.
Rare books library. She got her dream job. Super happy. I just came off Scumbag Camping.
Right. Dave, for our listeners, explain what
I'm a scat man.
Explain what Scumbag Camping is.
It was the 10th Scumbag Camping this year. Mm-hmm. So we had
that's crazy.
10-year anniversary. It is a camping trip that's basically like a family reunion with all of your friends. It basically started off as a music festival, but there's no bands playing. It's every night's a themed party, and it's everybody you know, a bunch of friends. Well, everyone you know who enjoys camping, because you're always super invited.
Yes, I appreciate that. It's very kind of you all to invite me. I will never be there, but I'm with you in spirit.
Yeah, of course. It's a great time.
Keep up with the social needs.
It's a great time to get to be hanging out, but have fireworks thrown at you.
Yes.
One time a firework blew a hole through my pants and my underwear and left a burn on the side of my ass.
Are you sure it was a firework?
It was a firework.
Wasn't your ding dong?
This year I got my foot stepped on and the front half of my toenail fell off.
What?
Well, it turned black, and then I had to like clip it and chip it off.
Which toe?
Siri was even upset. The big toe?
The biggest toe.
Big on the left
nail.
foot. Big toe, left foot.
Oh, boy.
But then we hung out on the river. I let the nature wash away my sins.
Dave, how big do you think Big Show's toenail is?
Oh, at least the size of a dinner plate.
I would guess a dinner plate. Yeah.
But one thing that we did see when we were there, for some reason, it rained the day before. We woke up and there were so many worms. This is my really good segue, but it was insane. I brought the book to read it, obviously because I just finished it a few seconds ago. I did not. But they were giant worms. And my friend Fabio from Arizona, who's a listener, shout out to Fabio, he said something incredible when he was drunk. He was just like, fuck worms. They're God's mistake. He said that worms are stupid because their mouths are their asses and their asses are their mouths.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Do they poop out of their mouth?
Well, I mean, if you cut them in half, they kind of they have like a brain in it. So I guess. Because don't they like filter stuff through them? But they can both go either way. So I guess so.
I'm going to accept it as fact.
He was drinking. So I imagine it could be real. It could be false. But I thought it was funny. So anyway, we're going to discuss this book, Go Eat Worms.
Yeah. It's the 21st book in the series.
We just turned 21.
That's right, baby.
Technically,
this is the 21st episode. Sorry, Dave, what were we going to say?
Technically, it's our 24th episode, right?
Yes, that's true. We have had some specials in there. We had a catch-up episode where we ranked our faves. I forget what we called that. Oh, a quarterly review.
Quarterly review that also did a Goosebumps graphic novel review.
Right, yes.
We did a Halloween... what am I saying? Not Halloween. We did a Christmas book.
Yes.
And we also did
Screens.
Billy's School Kids. If you're on iTunes, those are not going to show in order. They're actually at the very bottom if you go to available episodes if you want to check out our extra content. But fuck extra content. We're going extra on this content. Because this book, not that exciting. It's literally just about worms. Not my favorite.
It's real down the middle. I would say if I wasn't taking notes in preparation for our game today...
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have had much to say at all.
This is also funny from my research. This is R.L. Stein's least favorite book he's written.
Really?
He says it's a tie between this and Barking Ghost.
Oh, okay.
So R.L. Stein was even writing it, and he was like, eh.
You're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I got to submit something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the premise, it could be cool in the way that, like, Hitchcock's Birds is cool, but then... the execution is way worse than that. And also this is for kids, so you got to like work within those parameters. And they're worms, which is stupid. The worms aren't inherently scary. Snakes are scary.
Snakes are scary. They do discuss snakes.
Yeah.
For a little bit in this book.
But they're not a threat.
But if you've listened to us before, we know that R.L. Stein writes the book based off the title he comes up with. So first we get a title, and the book is written off of that. So Go Eat Worms is a good title.
Yeah, I like it, and I like the way it's used in this book, although it's overused. But yeah, it's Go Eat Worms. It's very like Bart Simpson, Eat My Shorts.
Yeah, it really is. But hey, it's a 90s slogan. It worked for a book. It made it onto hats, T-shirts, and other merchandise. So
that's right.
It was a hit.
Yep.
Let's discuss what's making this episode different. So
okay,
we got out to you guys on the Instagram.
Indeed.
And we asked you guys, since this is the 21st book, that we are now 21 and we can legally drink.
That's right.
So
Dave and I are both 21, not a day over.
According to this episode, our podcast is 21 episodes old.
That's right, baby.
Well, our 21 regular books old, and we wanted to drink for this one.
Yes.
So we went out to you guys, as we often do, and said, give us a drinking game to play. The same way we said, color in this picture of Cuddles.
Right.
The same way that we've asked people to do a couple things. And again, you guys didn't do shit.
Which, you know what? That's fair. I barely read the book until today.
That's true. People comment and send us stuff, which we appreciate. But because nobody got back to us, I put this into Matt's hands. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you have a drinking game for me.
Yes, Dave, this is a drinking game that is for you. Now, Dave, I want to ask you, do you have tomorrow off of work?
I do not.
All right, this is going to be great. So here's what's going to happen. And Dave, in spirit, I'll be doing this with you, although not physically. I will show you in the camera right now. I'm flashing an O'Doul's to Dave.
He is flashing an O'Doul's. Hold that in front of the camera one more time.
Uh-huh.
I just want to get...
I'm gonna really ham it up for this picture.
Taking a photo. You have to move it to the left more.
Left. My left or
yeah,
your
my
left?
left. You're right. This is great.
This is good content.
Yes, okay. So that'll be up on the gram. All right, so you're going to be drinking non-alcoholic beer.
That's right. I will be sipping this O'Doul's gingerly along with you each time you have to drink.
So
Now,
I have a bunch of things here. So I have a Mike's Hard Tangerine, which I don't know how that got here.
Gross.
Tangerine lemonade. I got an Asahi dry
Good.
Japanese beer. I have a Tatra. Tatra is a
Tatra.
full-bodied taste Polish beer.
Ooh, where'd you get that?
Liquorama.
Oh,
Near
I've
me.
been there.
I really like Liquorama.
Yeah.
But Fabio actually bought this for camping. We forgot it was in my trunk. So
Excellent.
it's a tall boy of Tatra. And we got just
Some New Amsterdam
a
vodka.
whole handle of New Amsterdam vodka. And look at my pint glass. I mean, my shot glass.
Oh, Go Power Rangers.
It's
the Pink Ranger.
It's the Pink Ranger. Pink Ranger shot glass.
Excellent.
All right.
So, Dave, here are the rules. Here's the premise for the drinking game. Now, as we do, the format's not really going to change. We're going to go through the plot. We're going to say our good and our bad.
Yeah.
In an effort to stagger the amount of times where you'll have to drink, I'm going to go through all those things organically. But each time, whether it comes up naturally in the plot or it comes up in my good or my bad, you're going to take a drink every time our protagonist, Todd, in my view, is extremely horny for worms.
Okay.
Or H for the W, as
for
I
the
will
W.
say. Every time I say H for the W, because I have deemed him to be extremely horny for worms, yes,
Okay.
you will take
So
a
what
drink.
do I
Now,
drink?
Here's the thing. Here's what we're going to do so that you don't have to go to the hospital tonight. I have in my hand a Pog. I'll show it to you now.
Is that a Pokemon?
It's a Pokemon. This is
I know who it is.
Dildo the Otter.
His name is Poplio. He is not a good
yes.
starter.
Okay, so Poplio, he's a cute little clown seal. And, right, he's a seal?
He's a seal. He is a
He's
clown
got a
seal.
kiss from a rose on his mouth. And on the back, it just says Pokemon, his little Pokeball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to flip this coin. And if it's Poplio, you're going to drink vodka.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to take a shot, an ounce. And if it's the Pokeball, you're going to drink the Mike's.
Okay.
Okay?
And when the Mike's is done, we move to beer, I guess?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I bought these beers for a reason. So first I'm going to... All right, let's do this.
All right. Beautiful. Perfect. Would you like to go into time and place?
Sure. Okay. So it's funny that you would say seal because I think we have some seal action. But time and place, so this book came out in July of 1994. As I said before, this is RLS's least favorite book. And on the back of the book, it says that there are worms in his spaghetti, but that never happens. It's some Eminem shit.
Oh, yes.
Palms are sweaty. Knees are weak.
Ass is Freddie and Mario Andretti. Hey, my dick is heavy. My ass is dumb. I have a small calf, and my feet don't work too good.
Brittany Murphy
go
is
ahead.
in this film.
R.I.P. Brittany Murphy. Shit, my smallest ass and horrid dick.
I just want to
Go
drink
ahead,
to
Dave.
end this. So we always talk about top movie at that time. There were some real bangers, but this is from Top's moneymaker to the least. It started with Lion King, which broke box office records at that point.
Sure.
Then Forrest Gump also came out this month. True Lies came out.
Hell yeah.
And
my boy.
The Mask.
Somebody stop me.
I think we should bring back The Mask quotes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like
we should.
Borat, we got it. Oh, my wife.
Your
yeah.
wife.
Oh,
Yes.
a donkey. I'm a Shrek.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Eat your food, you dumb idiot, Tina.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Napoleon Dynamite. Garsh.
Jamiroquai.
Garsh. I'm goofy. Everyone does goofy. Garsh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Everyone's
no, but we
goofing.
should just do like, do not go in there.
Right, because he took a big stinky shit.
That's Ace
except he
Ventura.
didn't.
That's Ace
It's
Ventura. Let's
Yeah.
do more Jim Carreys, please.
Okay, I'll have what she's having.
That's Billy
Garfield.
That's Billy Crystal's.
Oh,
You did.
you give me the money.
What?
Show me the money.
I don't even know what. Oh man, I'm gonna need to drink on this one. I think. Okay, so
You've
good.
got mail.
We're doing good, and the song was "I Swear." Still,
I swear. Okay,
it's the third
Yeah.
episode in a row it's been on top.
It's a beautiful song.
So there's one. You know, we're doing good and bad for current events in this month.
Yes.
I have a good, and I don't know which one, good or bad, and a bad.
Okay.
So good. On July 18th, "Kiss from a Rose" was released by Seal.
Love it. Hell yeah.
It later wins the Grammy for the record and song of the year.
Cool.
And also wins the heart of everybody who goes to see Batman.
Yes. Have I said this on this podcast before, that was my first cassette?
Yes, you
Batman
have.
Forever.
And it fucking rips.
Yeah, it does.
And then, so middle of the road, good and bad. On July 5th, this blows my mind. Amazon.com is founded by Jeff Bezos.
Whoa. Fucking Bezos in early.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
I remember in 1999, Ocarina of Time came out. And, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And my aunt got me Ocarina of Time, and she gave me the present, and I opened it, and it was an Amazon box with Ocarina of Time in there.
Wow.
She ordered it on Amazon in 1999.
She's ahead of the curve.
Right?
Prime back then was probably like 1 week. Like it was just Jeff, and he like got Huskies and like made
Yeah,
his
he
way.
sledded it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, also,
so
Amazon is bad.
This is the bad news.
Okay.
You ever watch Bewitched?
I'm aware of it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
So the husband in Bewitched, his name was Darren.
Mm-hmm.
He died young of cancer at 64.
Oh,
The guy who played Darren. But
all right.
do you know this actor's name?
No.
Dick Sargent.
Oh. R.I.P. Dick Sargent.
But that was not his real name. That was his stage name.
Richard Sargent.
No, he went by Dick always.
Okay.
But his last name wasn't actually Sargent.
Colonel.
No.
Dick Colonel.
No.
Dick Private.
His real name, which he switched for Hollywood, was Dick Cox.
Wow.
He's a hero. He's a
Yeah.
hero. His
Poor
name was
guy.
Dick Stanford Cox. His full
Well, you
name.
know, he really persevered. He made something out of himself.
And he always stood for Cox.
That's right. He stood up erect for what was right.
That's right. And speaking of standing erect, let's talk about this book about worms.
Yeah. Todd is certainly H for worms.
Fuck.
No, you don't have to do it yet. There's no instance of...
We need the rule. It's the rule.
Okay, every time I say it.
Flip
Although... So,
Flip it!
Oh...
Oh, my
So-
cat was stuck in the closet, and she just found her way out.
Yeah, you're right though. Any variation of horny for worms, H for worms, or H for the W, you have to drink. Okay, now let's see what you're gonna drink. The mics. It's the Pokeball. Mics it up, baby. I'm gonna open my O'Doul's. Let's get some good gaff work in here. Ooh, yes.
All right.
Room temperature.
Mine was cold. Ooh, this is a limited edition. I should have saved it.
Oh, save the bottle.
I should. Actually, it's not that bad. It's hard tangerine. Mm-hmm. It's actually quite refreshing. It's like a Sunny D. I like this. It's 5% alcohol, and I like this.
Okay.
So far, I like this episode.
This game is good.
This is really nice.
This is working out for you, Dave.
I love this.
Okay. So let's go through that old plot, shall we?
Let's plot it.
Okay. Well, Todd is a boy
Prove it.
who... okay. Let me bring up some photos.
All right.
Todd is a boy who enjoys a worm or two. He has some friends. I just read this today, and I don't know how this book starts. No, Todd has, he has a sister named Regina.
I thought it was Regina.
It is Regina. You're right.
Depends how you're. I just thought RLS. I know him.
You know what? I think it's Regina.
Rejoin. Shout
Yeah.
out to Dave for being
Shout
here
out
and
Dave.
teaching us Australian accents on our
So
Deep Trouble episode.
Rejoin and Rejoin's best friend is Beth Baker. All these people are introduced on the first page. Todd also has a friend named Danny. Nothing happens in the fucking first chapter, though.
Basically, Todd really likes worms.
Yeah,
He's a wormologist, and he just, like, all he does is play with worms and wear a Raiders hat that he never takes off.
Yeah, and in the first chapter, they establish, like, hey, there's a big science expo coming up at school. They're in 6th grade. There's a science. They're all making, like, science projects because they want to win first prize in the science expo, and if you do, you get a computer. And Todd really wants to jack off to some fucking worm porn because he's H for the W.
Flip that coin.
It's Poocha Pop. You have to drink the vodka.
All right, keep going. Explain the plot. I'm gonna.
Okay. So,
Opa!
Opa, Dave's taking the shot down the hatch. How was that?
Great.
Shots of vodka brings back college, doesn't it? So at the end of chapter 1, because Todd needs worms, he loves worms, and because he needs worms for his science project, which is like a worm house, he wants to go outside to their baseball field that they have. Dave, did your middle school have a baseball field?
My middle school? Yeah, I think so.
Really? I don't know if mine did.
You fucking go to a poor school, you dumbass.
I am drinking this O'Doul's. Oh, I did. I forgot to take a drink.
Come on, man. It's got to be fair.
Okay. Oh boy, I'm getting fucked up.
I mean, it wasn't
So-
like a good one, but it was one.
Yeah. So I guess that's the same situation here. So Todd goes out behind second base. He's a little freak. He has all these little worm spots that he goes to like scoop up all the wormy boys.
So he goes to second base, reaches under the bra, and pulls out a bunch of worms.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, he's extremely H for the.
You fucking asshole.
It fit there.
Flip.
It fit so well. It's Poocha Pop again.
Fucking kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Okay. I pre-poured one.
These are the rules.
Bottoms up.
Dave has shot back that V to his M. Now he's seeing a little bit, which is
You
not
know what?
common.
I
It's
got
cough.
this nice grapefruit LaCroix to be my chaser, so
Oh, a little pamplemousse.
pamplemousse.
Enjoy that LaCroix for the boy. So he goes
Fuck that
behind,
Papio. Yeah.
behind second base, and there's like a spot there that he goes to dig up worms. It's like it's always extra moist there, and he gets like extra cute little worm boys there. So he digs them up and he scoops up some worms.
You forgot. So he likes the worms he likes. Because his buddy's just like, why you got so many worms? And he's just like, none of your goddamn business, fuck. And he's like, I like them big and round and juicy.
Yeah, that's right.
He likes them the purpler, the better. He likes them engorged.
Yes, engorged is the perfect word.
Yeah.
But then when he's out there digging, there's a little rumble on the ground.
Oh, no. Real rumble tumble.
And he goes, oh, is there a little rumbly in my tumbly? And Danny's like, nah, dude, I think it's from the ground. And it turns out there's like a little mini earthquake. So they run back into the school, and they're like, hey, did everybody feel the earthquake? And everybody's like, no, you're a little worm freak. You'll figure it out, worm boy.
So he like knocks over the tray of some. There's a lot of '90s staples in this, like science fair. You could with a computer. And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you can tell he's running through the cafeteria and he knocks a tray up onto a teacher's chest.
Oh,
And
this
he's
the
just like-
spaghetti.
He
Spaghetti
was
and salad?
Barstow, which is his last name.
Was that this early though? Doesn't that later when he's
I
like
don't
running
fucking-
outside or something?
Yeah, but he runs outside because he hears that people saw Patrick
Right.
Digging
yeah,
up.
yeah.
digging behind second base in his bra.
Yeah, that's right. Patrick.
Was second base for you touching boob under the bra?
Yeah,
First base was a kiss.
correct. I heard it was specifically a French kiss, Dave, the way they do it in France.
I only know Persian kissing.
Prove it.
Again, it's tough. We're doing this episode via FaceTime.
By satellite, yep.
Just because I have a feeling I will not be able to drive home from this one.
That's a fair assessment, Dave. How many shots have you taken so far?
2.
And plus the mics.
Yeah, I didn't chug the mics, though. I just took like one sip of it. But because I was afraid I wouldn't be drunk enough while I was just finishing the book, I drank a beer.
So you've got a head start.
I wanted it to be exciting for all of my friends.
Yes, for your friends and your fans.
Yeah. I have friends, but that other one. So Patrick is like a rich fucking fuck.
That's right. He's a rich boy, and he has a carnival. Let me refer to my notes. He has a carnival in his yard, which is the rich equivalent of my uncle works at Nintendo, and I can get all the games I want for free. And guess what Todd wants? Guess what game he plays?
What game?
Earthworm Jim.
Oh.
But he modded it out so that he could kiss Earthworm Jim. You know why, Dave? He's H for the W. Let's see what Poopy Pop brings us. Dave.
You motherfucker.
It's Poopy Pop.
Do you see me sweating? I'm like...
I'm also sweating. I just, the excitement from seeing you booze it up. So, Patrick is a rich kid, but he's more importantly... So
he has a big house. He had a birthday. He had his own carnival. He doesn't really do much, and he's just kind of like whatever. And he's like, I'm doing a worm expo.
Yes, correct. So he stole Dave's shooting the shot. He stole Todd's idea for the science expo. It's like, Patrick, as if you don't have enough. Come on.
Todd has nothing but a dumb hat.
Yeah, he has a shitty old 90s Raiders hat. Definitely a snapback that's broken.
Yeah.
His hair stinks like shit because he never showers and he wears a hat all the time. He looks like a piece of trash. He has a little worm dick. Patrick, give him a break. Give him the laptop.
Another thing about Todd that we don't really talk about is that, like, in the very beginning, they say that he is scientific with the worms. Like, he wants to be a scientist. He knows instantly. Like, he's not just collecting worms to be gross. He is, and doing gross shit, but he's like... He says... Ugh. I have, like, a burp stuck in my throat.
Oh, no.
He says that he's, like, scientific about them and has, like, reasons for it, and that this is for his, like, personal life in the future. So, basically, there's many points where you realize he's going to be a serial killer.
For sure. He is truly a worm freak. So on page 2, it says, he was tall and skinny. His mother said he was as skinny as a worm. I hate this when RL does like these sort of animal analogies, and it's like, you're a bird because you got bird legs and you're thin.
His legs were erect and had foreskin on them. That's why they called him dick legs.
Every time his tip hit the ground, he just...
Good RLS impression, too.
Thank you. His mother said he was skinny as a worm. Todd never thought that was funny. He took worms seriously. Mm-hmm. Stupid, fucked up. Page 3, it says he was always digging up for more, looking for champions. As you said, Dave, he liked them long and purple and kind of fat and squishy. Squishy was very important. So weird. So he's very passionate about this. Patrick is out there digging at his spot, taking over his idea for the science expo.
But
Todd
we'll
is
tell him
incensed.
what he's doing exactly. He just knows that he's also doing worms.
Yeah, he's very cagey about it. He's like, what are you going to do? Like, I'm doing worms. What are you doing with your project? And he's like, do you really want to know? And then the bell rings and they have to go inside and whatever.
Yeah. Then he's like, well, how am I going to figure out what Patrick's doing? I know. My sister, Rejoin.
Yeah, Rejoin is the source of information here. Basically, Todd has a plan. He wants to go to Patrick's house to talk to him more and find out like what he's doing. He's definitely like obsessive. He has like maybe a diagnosable condition he should talk to a therapist about. And his goal now is to find out at all costs what Patrick is doing with these worms.
Exactly.
So he's like, Regine will know where he lives because they've talked or something. And, then I can go and have it out. So Todd goes to the Patrick residence. And it turns out it's like a weird, creepy old house. And he and Danny get chased into the house by a scary dog. And the weird thing is the house is just open. They just go in.
Yeah. It's like a mansion, and they go inside, and there's like a ghost in there.
Yes. It's very like I pictured like that creepy old house from the It remake.
Yeah.
It sort of had that vibes and that kind of a vibe in its description. And basically,
why would he think that? Like, he's like, oh, real rich Patrick, and he's just like, look at this ramshackled house. He's so rich, his house is poor person themed.
Yeah, he does say something like that. He's like, this doesn't add up, and then he goes inside, and there's like spooky old dusty shit in there, and I think Danny's like, oh, they're probably remodeling.
Yeah,
which is such like a cute like rationalization.
He just saw Home Alone 2. And he's just like, oh, this all makes sense.
Yeah, this checks out. So they leave, and he finds out that he overhears Regine on the phone saying to presumably Beth, I guess, that that she led him on a wild goose chase, that it was a prank.
Yeah.
Then we're at the big event, the Science Expo.
Science Expo 94.
The Science Expo 94, everybody's got their projects on various tables. And there's a really funny thing here where some kids have like beakers of acid.
Yes.
and the chapter opens with like there's a crash, and the teacher's like, "Is that the acid?" And like he runs. Oh, here it is. Was that the acid? And acid is in italics, and it says Mrs. Sanger shouted, her eyes going wide with horror. And then it says again, was that the acid? And so she goes tearing across the gym because like it's just funny to me that that's in there, because I'm thinking like some kids are getting horribly disfigured or something. It's like a weird thing to have at the start of a chapter for RL, but I admire it. It's a change of pace.
I love that character of Mrs. Sanger.
The teacher, yeah, it's
because you
funny.
can tell that she's scheduled for this like event that's on a Saturday.
Yeah,
and like kids are bringing acid and like weird shit.
They're fucking around with helium.
Also, like nobody knows what the fuck science is. Everybody's science project is fucking dumb.
Yeah, Danny like got a piece of cardboard and like glued some balloons to it, and he's like, "It's space."
Yeah, and it was funny because he was like, the one closest to the sun was deflated. It was just like so shitty, and he's like, I feel bad for him because he wanted to share the computer because my project's so good. And I was like, I'm not fucking sharing with you. What if I want to play Math Munchers and it's at your house?
Yeah. What if I wanted Earthworm Jim my own dick off and it's at your house? So I would also say when they're doing the science fair, and Danny's got his cardboard thing with the balloons on it that sucks, and Todd brings out his worm house, and he's very proud of his worm house, and Patrick reveals his giant old hog of a house. It's a skyscraper, and it's filled with worms.
They say it's more than 6 feet tall.
Yes, it's
a glass skyscraper that's 6 feet tall.
It would take like 3 people to bring it into the gym, and like a dolly,
and it's full of dirt.
It's full of dirt and worms.
And it has a working elevator.
It does, yes. A pulley system for old Patrick. And on page 42, it says, I don't believe this, Todd thought miserably. I built a crummy little worm house, and Patrick made a skyscraper. It's not fair, not fair. Patrick doesn't even like worms. Also on this page, he says, I'm the worm guy, which proves once again that he's H for the W, Dave. Now let's turn over to Pookle Pop and see.
Please, Pop Leo. Please.
It landed over here on this bag of donated clothes, or clothes that we're going to donate. Let's take a look at what it was.
Why?
Dave, I'm sorry it landed on Pookle Pop.
Oh my god. If we didn't have video, I wouldn't believe it.
Look at his cute little face. And I'm not switching it. I want you to know that I'm using the honor system. When I pick it up, I'm showing you the honest result. Later on, They go back. Todd and Regina and Beth go back to the house, and Beth and Regina are in the basement playing ping pong. And Todd goes down there, and they're sort of bickering back and forth, whatever. And eventually Todd says, like, hey, you want to see something cool? And he takes one of his worms, cuts it in half, and both sides, both halves of the worm are still flopping around. He's like, isn't that cool? And also, Regina fucking knows that happens. But
yeah, you don't need to do it to know that.
Yeah.
It's because, that's the harming animals or anything like that is like one of the first signs of a serial killer.
He is, I think, truly unbalanced. I mean, he's a worm freak, so,
He is a freak for worms.
I mean, I would say... I would even say he's H for the W. But that's just my opinion. Now, let's see what Pockle Chew has to say.
Please don't.
I
see the look on your face.
Dave, I regret to
what
inform
the fuck?
you.
You're just doing this as a joke.
I am not. This is how it landed. If you want me to reflip, I will reflip.
No.
These are the rules of engagement.
Keep talking.
Okay.
I was going to bring a bag of pretzel goldfish, so I had something in my tummy.
Yeah.
It was a long day of work.
I can vamp a little bit if you want to go do that.
No, it's fine because I don't want to. I don't want to chew.
Right. Okay. Well, we're halfway through the plot, so.
We're halfway through. This is my. What is this? What is this 4?
I think it's 5 or 6.
This is my fifth shot of vodka, and we're halfway through the plot.
We're halfway there.
And the worms didn't even start yet.
They didn't start yet. However, this is the beginning of the worms because Regina is grossed out by this. Dave is taking the shot.
Did you drink your O'Doul's?
Oh, not yet.
Fuck. All right, let's do this. Okay. I am I moved my head too fast, and I saw the light move slower than everything else.
That's a good sign.
All right, let's do this. Let's fucking get it.
We'll finger blast through this. So
blast is giant. All right. So
Regina is upset. At this point, a worm. My alternate title. Regina is grossed out that Todd has cut the worm in half, and Beth is like, "Hey, look at because Todd still has the worm castle that he built, and he's like, "Hey, look at your worms." Beth is like, "Look at your worms. I think they're looking at you, and they watched you." Excuse me. They watched you cut their friend in half. And
which I imagine like Vlad the Impaler would have the same thing. Like he'd shove a telephone pole up someone's ass and he'd be like, "Hey, I think his friend's watching." And he's like, "I don't care."
Yeah. Or like David Blaine has this problem a lot, cutting all his friends in half. So Beth is like, "Yeah,
also,
I don't know."
He dresses just like R.L. Stein.
David Blaine does?
Yeah. Black dress shirt, black pants.
Yes. Cole's
shiny black dress shirt. Cole's.
Special.
So he's like, whatever. Then the next day, he wakes up and he's eating, and his mom's like, "We'll come down and eat. Your fucking cereal's getting soggy." Mm-hmm. And he's like, "I can't find my damn hat in a minute."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And his hat's not on the little post, so he goes and he finds the hat and he puts it on his head.
That's right.
And his mom is like, "Why do you always wear that dang hat?" And then he's like, "I don't know." And this is something that bothered me because Regina says he thinks he's a grunge.
A grunge, yes. They use the article A.
Yeah, he thinks he's a grunge. Only real grunges wear hats.
Yes, and then his mom says, "Is that true? Are you a grunge?" It's very weird.
It's so weird.
I kind of like it, a grunge. It's
I
very
be a
like
grunge
specifically, yeah, it's very strange. It's like so adjacent to what it should be called. I mean, it's very like parental, but it's weird that his sister uses it.
Yeah, but from now on, if you have anyone, please sell our podcast to people. We need more listeners. You can do that and say, "Oh, it's this good one where two grunges listen to Goosebumps." listen to Goosebumps. They read all the book, and then
this is drunk Goosebumps, right? Like this is our drunk history answer. This is our answer.
I feel
to
like
drunk
there's
history.
already there's a Drinking with Goosebumps podcast somewhere.
Is there?
I think, yeah. There's a couple other ones. I ignore them. I never want to listen to any other ones because if people are like, oh, they did that too, I'd be upset.
Yes.
I don't want to try and not be anyone else. I just want to be us.
Me too. Together.
So anyway, all of a sudden his head feels all squirmy, wormy. It's because there's worms in his hat.
There's worms in his hat, his favorite Raiders hat.
Then he goes to eat a soggy cereal and it's extra soggy because there's a worm in it.
There's a worm in the cereal. And he doesn't love worms that much.
Not to eat.
Not to eat. So he's complaining about this later at school to Danny. And he's like, isn't my sister the meanest? And he goes to eat his peanut butter jelly sandwich, and there's a damn worm in there.
So there's my notes after this point, because this is when I started reading it now. Literally, I'm just going to read my notes for you. So before it just says, only real grunges wear caps. All right.
Okay.
Then it says worm hat.
Okay.
which is from Always Sunny.
Right, yes.
Worm hat. They try to make it work, but it's vermit. Then I wrote worm cereal.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it says worm sandwich.
Yes, the worm sandwich. That's what we just recapped.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends?
Yeah, because he goes to eat his peanut butter and Jay, and he's talking about how Regina is being such a dang buzzkill and putting worms all up his stuff.
Yeah.
And he takes a big bite out of a worm, and Danny is just ready to puke.
Yes. So he's like, Regina, you're not going to get away with this. And literally it says that in the book. And he goes to try to find her, and he overhears them yet again, with Patrick this time. And Patrick says, no, Todd doesn't know. He doesn't know I'm doing it. So what's a Todd to think? What's a worm freak to do? He
thinks that they're in cahoots.
That's right. He goes and confronts Patrick. Patrick's like, I didn't do nothing. And he finds out that Patrick is making a comic book called The Adventures of Todd the Worm.
This scene is one of my favorites. Because he's just like, no, I'm not. What page are you on?
In the actual book, I'm on page 78.
Because this is one of the weirdest things that R.L. Stine has written. Because he's just like, I bet kids are like this. And it's so good. That's where you're getting them, Todd insisted. I heard you. I heard the whole thing. The three of them exchanged bewildered glances. I'm not into worms anymore, Patrick said. I tossed all my worms into my dad's garden. Liar, Todd accused in a low voice. No, it's true. I helped him, Beth said. I got bored with them. I don't collect them anymore, Patrick told him. I'm into comic strips now. Huh? Comic strips? Todd stared suspiciously. The two girls began to grin. Yeah, I'm drawing comic strips.
I'm a pretty good artist. Take off your clothes, Patrick said.
I just think it's so weird to be like, I collect worms. I'm not into that anymore. My new fad is comic strips.
Yeah, it is weird. Although it is sort of, I don't know, kids would do that, I guess. Like, producer Chib makes fun of me because in elementary school, I really liked frogs. So I was a frog freak.
Would you say that you were H for the F's?
I am, Dave. I still kind of am.
You gotta go drink an actual alcohol now.
Okay, here I go.
That's no duels.
It's a real beer made with alcohol. I can taste it.
You fucking coward.
Oh, God.
Let's keep moving.
So...
Let's just leave. Worm backpack, worm notebook, worm bath.
Yes, although I do want to say when the worms are in his bed and his mom is like, all right, well, I'm going to change your sheets for you and go take a bath. And he doesn't want to take a bath.
He doesn't. He's just like, Mom, I promise I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
I
can't wear these pajamas. I'm covered in worm guts, including my face.
Yeah, so he does change his pajamas, but he's just like covered in worm juice. And I think he doesn't do that because he's...
Oh, fuck you.
Probably because he's H for the W.
This is a weighted coin. I would use this coin to play Pokemon cards with.
All right.
Because I'd constantly get my fire spins.
You're in luck, Dave.
Hey!
It's the Pokeball.
Tangerine.
Tangerine dream, baby. Let's do it. All right, so yeah, and
Let's
then
add sugar to my stomach.
I do want to say also that there is another rumble under the ground. He goes back to second base to get more worms to play a prank on what's her face, Regine.
Gets right back to that boob.
Yes, and there is a rumble again under the ground. Whatever, they don't pay it much mind. And then there's other worm stuff. There's a worm backpack. Blah blah blah. There's a bunch of bullshit. Who cares? So at the end of the book, what's his face?
He learns that Regina's doing it all.
Yeah, Regina's
So he's gonna
behind
get
it.
double revenge on her.
Yes. He says, I know it's going to take a lot of worms, so he goes back behind second base. He lifts the bra, and he takes out all the worms, and then suddenly a big worm comes spooking out of the ground. And
It wasn't an earthquake.
It wasn't
just
an earthquake.
A giant worm. They said he's the size of a goddamn tree trunk.
That's right. Yeah, it was dark brown like a tree trunk and round like a tree trunk, but it was moving too fast to be a tree, rising up from the mud. It was a giant worm. It stretched up from the mud, darting and dipping its enormous head. Todd uttered a shriek of terror and turned to run, but his feet slipped on the wet, quivering mud. He fell forward, landing hard on his knees and elbows. So there's a worm there. I will say that there is a lot of... Dave, we've done a segment like this before with a lot of sexual talk.
I wrote this down as well. This page is so fucking nuts.
It's so sexy. Are you thinking about page 115, and now the worm was disappearing back into the gaping hole?
Yes, I was. And with that page, I was thinking about this point when it says... the worms are really getting their revenge this time, and then he had no more time for crazy thoughts or any kind of thoughts because the enormous worm was tightening itself around Todd's waist, choking off his breath, choking him, pulling him, tugging him down into the mud, down into its cavernous hole.
Now, Dave, I don't know about you.
Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I read it along with you. No, I said gaping hole before.
Gaping hole. I was like, yeah, because I had the hole. I was like, did I say the same hole?
No, it's a different hole.
The huge wet worm was crushing him as it pulled him down.
Now, part of me thinks this is like a fantasy of his because he's so H for the W. Wouldn't you say? Let's see, pick a pop.
See, it has to... Oh, fuck. It has to...
I have to go get that.
Okay. Statistically, this is going to be Mike's hard tangerine. You fucking asshole.
That's
Fuck
the way it landed.
Is this 6?
This is 6, I think. Your 6th shot. Pookle Pop has spoken, Dave. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Dave, that's pretty much the book. I will say that
No, it's not.
Christopher Robin comes back at the end to scare the worm away. Inadvertently, Regine to the rescue by carrying the big papier-mâché bird. The worm sees the shadow of the bird, retreats back into its gaping hole, and but apparently Regine never even saw the worm. So
No one saw it. It never happened.
then, the very end... Todd says, you know what? Worms are behind me. They've scared me too much. I'm more into butterflies now. And how does he show his appreciation for butterflies, Dave?
He chloroforms them like a date rapist.
Yes.
Piece of shit, motherfucker.
He murders them. He murders them and pins them to a board. And the book ends...
Sounds like he's H for the bees.
Yeah, he's H for the... He's a fucking dick asshole. He... At the very end of the book, R.L. says that there's an enormous butterfly as big as a bedsheet carrying an enormous silver pin. What are you going to do? Todd cried. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
We
did it.
We did it, Dave. We got through the plot.
We did it.
Do you want to talk about your good and bad?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would be...
I said the beginning was good because it was written like a fairy tale.
Yes.
But I'm going to try, because I was like, oh, I'll just read through it. Like, hold on. He liked to torture Regina's best friend, too. Her name was Beth Baker, and she always screamed a high, squeaky scream whenever Todd surprised her with a big, slimy worm. "You're totally gross, Todd," Beth would squeal. This always made Todd very happy. Todd's best friend, Danny Fletcher, didn't really understand why Ty was so interested. It reminded me of, what was that fucking show that was like, it was about like this girl who could touch people that were dead and they'd come back to life, but if she touched them again, they'd die.
It was...
And it was like a Zooey Deschanel clone that played her. And it was like, the baker who was doing this. Like, it was like a very fairy tale kind of tone for the beginning of the book. Which, when RLS does that thing where he's just like, and little did they know,
Yes.
soon. Like, when he does that shit and keeps it in that storybook kind of setting, it works.
Yes.
So I think that was an interesting way to go into a worm book. I feel like he didn't really know how to tackle this one because he had the title, and he dove into like a really interesting way where he took, I don't know, it's not a normal RLS intro. He gets all the characters out of the way, but in like a sing-songy kind of way. Like
Right.
every character gets their introduction and then gets a quote, pretty much. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I do like it. I even like the opening, like you were saying, before the worms turned mean, before they slivered out to get their revenge, Todd Barstow had a great time with them. It's cool. But it's, I think, just overall, I mean, not to jump the gun here, but it's just pretty down the middle book. What else you got?
I like the characterization of Todd. I feel like Todd was a very strong character with a strong voice for it being a third-person book.
Yes, I agree, because a lot of this is written with, I think, or I'm going to do this, Todd thought, and so his voice is suffused in the narrative.
It's true. And as we know, the books, first-person books outweigh third-person in the Goosebumps series to the point where as it goes on, they disappear.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, maybe I'll act like I want to help him out, give him a few tips on how to take care of the worms. Nice guy, Danny teased. He chuckled to himself. What if Patrick says no? Todd didn't reply. He hadn't thought of that.
I did like that.
Little things like that where you get
Right.
Todd's thought process. You get him just being like the confidence, his ideas. It's just like he's so caught up in what he's caught up in, and I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Miss Sanger is in charge of the students, and I love that because I work at a school, and when I'm an IT guy, I'm the IT manager, so like I'm not in charge of the kids, but when I am in charge of the kids, I feel like Miss Sanger. And this is great. After the acid poured, it says she went tearing across the gym, holding her clipboard in front of her like a shield.
Yeah.
I loved that. It's just like holding any sort of thing, like just defensively. She was not. I mean, the word choice here by RLS was so. It's incredible because she was not there running things, and we know that. She is playing a defensive role in this expo, and I love that a lot.
Yes, where she's like physically shielding herself.
Exactly, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Just like it wasn't like she held up her clipboard ready for it. It was like as a shield, like great.
Yeah.
I like this small detail. Every now and then there's small details that get peppered in there that I feel like makes good writing because we don't really relate to loving worms. We don't relate to scary things. We don't relate to kids' literature. But anyone can relate to this where it's his pajama bottoms were totally twisted. He straightened them on his way to the bathroom. It's like him getting out of bed, the morning after the worm thing and the morning after the horrible dream. And that's like one thing where it's like, I could feel that with pajama pants.
Yeah. Absolutely. Still
and I'm
happens.
like, that's just, it didn't need to happen, but it was great.
Yeah.
I also like this detail after he came home from having a non-worm dinner. He said it was like he decided it before going to bed because he had dealt with all of the worms in bed before. He stayed up and he watched a Star Trek episode he had already seen.
Yeah.
I like that. Just like it's
nice bit of
really
comfort.
showing his chops. Yeah, it's the comfort of expecting and having something knowing, and that was really good.
Yeah.
The big worm, it says the wet worm quivers. That was real good.
That speaks for itself.
This is the best part of the book. Well, there's two good parts. I'm going to jump ahead to this part because I thought it was awesome. I love this Because this is another characterization of the friendship between Todd and what's his fucking face.
Danny.
Yeah, that's the one. He says he was desperate to get out and collect them. Worms, I guess. I don't fucking remember, dude. Dude, are you sweating as much as I am? It's insane. Shit. Where? Hold on. He was desperate to check out and collect them. He was going to need a ton of worms to pay his sister back for a mean... Oh, it's the end of the book. Mean joke. Unfortunately, just before school let out, he and Danny were caught having a glue fight during art class.
I forgot about that detail.
It was just like, he needs to get revenge. This has been plaguing him his entire life. He is so focused on revenge, but he needed to have a glue fight.
Yeah,
So.
but first, a glue fight.
And this is the best thing R.L. Stine's ever written. And it's so dumb. But I was like, this is interesting. But now, for some reason, it really speaks to me. When he said, the weekend passed slowly. Todd and Danny went to see a movie on Saturday. It was a comedy about space aliens trying to run a car wash. The aliens kept getting confused and washing themselves instead of the cars. In the end, they blew up the whole planet.
I have that in my good as well. It's amazing.
That's the best thing I've ever read in my life.
I'd love to see that.
I would watch that. I would watch it 100 times.
Hell yeah. Cool. So that's all your good? Was that everything, or was that good and bad, or just good?
That was my good. That was all my good.
What's your bad?
No, you do your good.
No. All right. So page 9.
Fuck your ass.
Page 9, per the PDF, not the actual book. It says, he can't do a worm project. I'm doing the worm project, Todd insisted, turning back to stare at Patrick through the glass. It's a free country, Regina replied smugly. She and Beth laughed and slapped each other high fives.
Fucking, that's awesome.
Hell yeah. Page 13, the word dejectedly is used, which is a nice $5 word.
That's $15 where I come from.
That's a hell yeah. So page 18 as well. This is the end of chapter 8, and it's very cool because it's like this is when Danny and what's his face Todd are in the creepy house, and it says they both gasped as they stepped into the living room and saw the figure hunched at the window, saw the decayed green flesh of his face, saw the bones of his jaw open in a hideous toothless grin bone. Saw his evil sunken eyes staring at the room across the room at them. I think that's a cool ending. The acid we talked about, I thought that was funny, and the alien movie I thought was good.
Good alien movie.
The bad.
All right, I'll do this.
Cool, you do it.
The idea of a worm house for a science fair makes no sense.
How so?
But, because, like, that's not science.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Putting worms into a dollhouse is not, like, see their family.
Right.
Like, you don't learn anything from doing that.
Yeah.
That's like if I take a shit in a shoebox and I'm like, look, it's not a shoe.
Science made that shit, Dave.
That's not science at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, like, not science, and that makes no sense. If he's just obsessed with worms and does a dumb idea, I can get that.
Yeah.
What makes less sense is that there's this idea of making a home for worms so much that another kid makes an even bigger worm house.
Yeah. It's such an appealing idea.
Like, how many science fairs have you ever been to? We have a STEM fair at my school.
Maybe one.
That I work at, and no one has ever done a worm house. But maybe this year I will.
You should, now that you have the idea.
Yeah, so that was the thing. That makes, like, who the fuck? This is why I think RLS doesn't like it as much, because, well, I'm going to say this, especially after last book, where the conceit of last book was real scary, real good. Scarecrow's coming to life and fucking up your farm and enslaving people. Oh, look, it's a kitty.
It's Merp.
That's Merp. But it was written poorly.
Yeah.
This book, the conceit of it is like worms are scary and they may or may not be getting him. No, they're not. His sister's mean. Oh, look, a giant worm.
Yeah.
Not good. But it's written pretty solid.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like, out of the stuff I need to say about it that's bad, it's not really... Nothing's grammatical, nothing's style. Everything seems to be okay. It's all like the stuff that is like, oh, okay, but that's always R.L. Stein. We get it. His writing style is for kids. That's fine. So, if I only have one wish for you, Patrick, go eat worms. I like the use of go eat worms, but I hated that. If I have a one wish for you, it is a go eat worm. Like, so...
It's very
that
theatrical.
was just weird.
And
it was very theatrical. I just wrote, what is a grunge?
Yes.
But I mixed that to good because now we are a grunge.
Hell yeah, we are.
As a team, we're grunges. This goes to something that I only talked about in the older episodes, and I'm so happy it's back. Because R.L. Stein is a dad. Now he's a granddad. Mm-hmm. And every now and then you get some granddad talk when you're trying to talk about kid stuff. Yeah. And I'm not even going to say anything about this. I'm just going to read it. He tried playing a Nintendo football game to pass the time. But he was so excited and nervous, he kept using the wrong fingers on the controller. And the machine beat him easily.
Right. Very clunky, inorganic.
No, but like, how do you use your wrong fingers on different buttons?
I'm so nervous. I keep poking
I'm so nervous. I use my middle finger on the A button. Yeah. And it's just like, damn, the machine got me.
Yeah. Yeah, very strange choice of words. Someone who doesn't really do that a lot.
He was probably playing a Sega.
Yeah.
And he was like, my damn Nintendo broke. So there was that. Mm-hmm. And then I just wrote ending. Because the ending...
The ending was not great.
The ending was not good. I mean, just that... I don't mean the whole ending. Just that, like, we get like those earthquakes every now and then. Mm-hmm. But the earthquakes had nothing to do with... Did we even say that they were traveling with the big bird and it scared them?
Yeah.
It scared the worm away?
Mm-hmm.
We said that?
Yep.
I don't even fucking remember. That's bad. I was like, we forgot the most important part, but apparently we said it.
We did it,
Way
man.
to go, us.
We did it.
All right, that's it. That's all I have to fucking say. Fuck this book.
All right. I will say a lot of this I've already covered because this was... Oop. I'm farting. I'm going to have to get that on mic.
No, you're not allowed to edit it. You made me drink six vodka.
Six vodka.
I swear to God.
So,
no
my bad list starts with page 2. How many worms do you have? Someone asked him.
Oh, no.
Not enough, he replied. Now, Dave, I think goes without saying that Todd is H for the W. Pookle Poopies. Let's go up.
All right. Mike's hard.
Mike's hard, baby.
There's so much sugar in this, too.
But
if I don't throw up tonight, then it's going to be a wonder. I think I'd be better if I threw up. I could wake up.
Get it out of your system. Page 4, RL does the stuff that we hate, which is the little did we know kind of a thing where it's like he didn't know what kind of trouble was waiting under the ground, he says.
I feel like with this podcast, sometimes we're like, well, we assume everyone listens to everything, so I leave stuff out of it.
Yeah.
If you are new to this podcast, check out, like, what do you say, the first 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Because we, being that we do have a literature background, we do take a more, I can't think of words. I'm drunk.
Not every episode is like this.
I don't want to say a conservative eye. I want to say we take a deeper look into the writing as a whole, but we take a look as, like, generic writing. I know it's kids literature, but there is stylistic things that we've talked about a lot.
Yeah.
That seems weird if you just pop this book off your goose shelf.
Yes. On page 14, while we're going through the bad, Todd says to his sister, because he's going to, like, shove the worm in her butt, so to avoid that, her knowing, he says, when she's like, what are you doing with the worm? He's like, I'm just taking my worm for a walk, which sounds like a euphemism for jacking off. But I would also say that I think Todd taking his worm for a walk really means he's H for the W. And let's see what the coin has to say.
Oh, no, please.
I'm just going to let you take a look at that.
Fucking asshole.
For the listeners, it's Pookle Pop.
All right, keep going.
So the vodka cometh. Page 17. The kids try their hand at humor, and it fucking sucks. When the dog attacks Danny and Toto, what's his name? Todd. A dog, Danny exclaims shrilly. I thought it was a gorilla. And then later they're like, someone should put that guy on a diet. And Todd says, we could ride that dog to school. They just go on too much and it's not funny.
Also, it leads me to believe that is the dog's house. And not theirs. The dog owns that house.
Which would be awesome. Yeah.
I think it would be good. The idea of a dog house is new and I think real cool.
It is. On page 22, just more example of Todd being a freak. He's like admiring his own thing, his own project. It says, once the worm house was in place, Todd pulled out the sign he had made for it.
Real quick, I'm just going to say this. I just poured this one and I'm going to drink it. Please. Please.
Dave did another shot. There it is, baby. Todd pulled out the sign he had made for it and placed the sign beside it on the table. He stepped back to admire his work. Just a huge freak. Oh. The last one I'll say is that one of the judge's questions when they're asking Patrick about his project is, could worms live in a real skyscraper? And that's fucking insane. That's it. That's all I got.
I love that they were like, we're learning about gravity.
Yeah. Yes.
They were like, we need to let the rich kid win because his parents have donated so much to the school.
Oh, by the way, Danny won. His shitty solar system won, by the way.
I forgot to say that. It's insane. At the end, they're like, and the winner is Danny. And they were like, yeah, it was really political how he deflated Earth on the others. Because, like, the others may be gas giants, but Earth, I mean, we've depleted its resources. Yeah. And that was just poetic. And
bravo, Danny, bravo.
Bravo, Danny.
Let's blast through the spook scare. Alt title, best dressed. What's your spook, Dave?
I didn't like when they did the worm bath. Help, somebody! Todd shouted, but the worms were pulling him now. Pulling him down. I just realized I'm not wearing my glasses. It's real. I was like, why is it so hard to see? Because I have astigmatism. Oh, wow. Oh, that's way better.
Wow.
It's tough when you don't have vision insurance or dental. I mean, I'm not reading with my teeth, but if anyone's hiring. He could feel their wet grasp, hundreds of tiny prickles, as they held him tightly and tugged him down into the churning water. They plopped onto his head, because he was into poop stuff. Crawled over his face, because they wrote his face, because he's into that stuff. Dangled from his quivering shoulders like a dick boa on his shoulders. Covered him in cum, and continued to rain down, to pour down, to pull him down with them into the wriggling dark sea of warm, wet worms.
That was beautiful.
That's eat my butt. By the way, if nobody knows, usually we read the sections before we start it. That I decided it's my turn. I'm gonna read after.
That's right. It's better that you read it this way.
Fuck you.
Fuck
all you.
My spook and scare is not bathing after rolling around in bed with the worms. Scared me to death. It's really gross. Fuck that.
Well, you're a germ guy.
I'm a germ guy.
You hate germs.
Yeah, more like go eat germs. No thanks.
All right, chug it no duels because you said that.
It's gone. I can't have that much liquid. How about your best dressed?
It's a robin swelling orange breast.
That's a good one.
Swelling orange breasts just get me there.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I need
like a
now.
Jersey Shore episode.
Yeah. I need to see a swelling orange breast now to get there. My best dressed, I just wrote all the worms.
Because they all look like dicks.
Yes, I loved it, especially the purple ones. How about your alternate title?
I didn't think of that. You go.
Stinky sperm.
What?
Stinky sperm.
That has nothing to do with this book. I'm going to make you try again.
Go get a perm.
I'm going to make you try again. I had to drink all this. I'm going to make it where you work for the end.
Dirt boys in my cereal?
I mean, that's closer. That has something to do with it. That has something to do with it. Oh, I forgot there was something I wanted to say about how he was a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. I took good notes on it. Oh, do you know that when Todd cuts the worm in half, he wishes that he could cut a person in half and see if the same thing works?
That's what it says?
Yeah.
Jesus. No.
That's when I knew he was a serial killer.
That's a good indication.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to that 45 minutes after we were there in the plot.
Look, you did it. That's what matters.
Yeah. I'm going to call this warning signs. Why does Walmart hide all the non-E for Everyone video games?
Right, because Todd is a serial killer.
Todd's a serial killer. Todd, what's Todd's... I don't even know what Todd's problem is. Because, like, his home is fine. His sister's fine. His family is super cool. Maybe his dad's not around enough. But, like, he seems okay. Danny's the one who's dealing with actual shit.
Yep.
What's, like, Todd even doing?
He's fucking around with worms.
Yeah, yes. Let's keep moving.
All right, I think that's it for this episode, Dave. What do you think?
I think I'm horny. Horny for the end of this episode.
Excellent. You're H for the E.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm H for the E. I'm H for some HMD. House MD.
Yeah. My girlfriend's favorite show is Dexter. Her second
Sure.
favorite show is HMD.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It legitimately holds up. It's very good, I will say.
Which, by the way, FX, if you're listening to this, I wasn't thrilled with this season finale of Basket Season 3. It's my favorite show on TV right now. Because I don't watch a lot of shows on TV right now. It's good, and it could end here, but it wouldn't be great. But I really want you to keep going.
This is like when I was a kid,
when-
I wrote a letter to Nickelodeon asking for the Rugrats time slot to be moved to accommodate my sleepovers.
Are you serious?
Yep. This reminds me of that.
Because you said that, can you take a shot of alcohol?
No.
You have scotch next to you. I know your fucking house.
It's a dry night for me, except for the
No.
O'Douls that I had, which
No.
was staggering. I'm so
No.
wasted right now.
Do it.
I'm off
Do
my
it.
head, Dave. I'm still drunk from yesterday.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. Go fucking do it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
You're still here.
Okay, I'm back.
It's an audio medium, but I can see you.
I'm back. Woo, doggy. I could taste the oak.
I fucking hate everybody and I hope you all die.
It's delicious. Okay, see you next time.
No. But seriously, we need to get back to killing all of you guys who give us 5-star reviews.
Yes.
Somebody gave us a 1-star review a little while back, but we're still a 5-star, which is fine.
Wait, do we already know about this 1-star, or is this a new one?
We did. We
Okay.
talked about it, but like they didn't give a review, which makes it sting even more. If you wrote why we suck, we could at least giggle about it a bunch.
Yeah.
But
But we'll kill you either way.
no, I'm not gonna kill no ones. But I drank a bunch of vodka tonight for no reason, and
No, it was the
if you
21st
could-
book. That's the reason.
I know, but if you could give us a 5-star review and move
Do
us
it for
ahead
Dave.
in the
Look what he
world.
did.
I just want to beat all the other Goosebumps guys.
I think with this episode we've done that.
I think it's going to be the worst one yet. Oh, wait. I never said my ending title. Did I?
Yes, you did. It was the E for everyone Walmarts.
Mine is Go Suck Dicks.
All right. We did it. Dave is currently pounding the Mike's Tangerine. He's gulping it down. He ate it in one bite.
Go suck dick.
Go suck dicks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, boo dude.
Boo dudes, bye.
Was it good? Was it? Was it so long? Oh my fucking god, dude! I'm afraid to stand up. I'm literally afraid to stand up. I think I had. Well, no, I had 5 shots of vodka. And one. Did I have 6? And I had. Well, I didn't drink any beer though. But I had this. Why did I pick Mike's? Because that's all sugar. I'm bad at sugar. Yeah, it was delightful. Hold on, I'm still recording. Let me hit stop.